everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session of English grammar, we are going to begin a new chapter that is very important as well as interesting, and its name is determiners. Well, this chapter is very important for any exam. Also, this chapter is very important to learn various parts of speech. In fact, it includes various parts of speech. It means it has some concepts which relates each and every part of a speech in it. Well, what are they and how are they used? That we are going to discuss in the entire series of determiners. Well, this one is part 1 of determiners. So let's see that what we are going to discuss in this session. In this session, we will discuss the following topics. First of all, we'll see the introduction of determiners. Okay, that is the definition of determiners and various concepts regarding it. After that, we'll discuss types of determiners and then characteristics of determiners. So there are various characteristics of determiners, various types of determiners. Now in this session, we will have only the overview of this chapter, that what we are going to discuss in later sessions. Okay, so let's begin this session. First of all, let us see the definition of determiners. Determiners are words placed before a noun. Now this one is very important in this, that it is a word which is used before a noun. Okay, so first thing that we get over here is that it is used just before the noun. To make it clear what the noun refers to, they can denote specifics like quantity or possession, or can indicate definiteness or indefiniteness of the noun. Now, if you see these words, you must have an idea that we have heard about these words before as well. It means if we talk about any word like adjective, obviously, which word qualifies noun? Adjective qualifies noun. Moreover, we have an article that qualifies noun. Okay, that again qualifies noun. So there are various words that can qualify noun, and we have already heard them. And that and those name is adjective and article. We have heard that an adjective can qualify a noun. For example, leather bag. So if I say leather bag, this bag has its material in leather, and leather is the adjective. Okay, if I say big building or a tall building, so that is also an adjective which is qualifying noun. Tall is qualifying noun, that is building. Okay. So adjective is a word that can qualify noun. Similarly, determiner can also qualify noun. But how? Is tall a determiner? No, not at all. If a word is denote the quantity, quality or position, not quality but quantity or position, that can be said as determiner. How? Well, there are some adjectives like if I say this pen, okay, if I say this pen, of course, we can say that this is of also an adjective, that is demonstrative adjective, but this is also known as determiner. It means if we talk about demonstrative adjectives, they are determiners. Okay. If I tell you about distributive adjectives, if I tell you about possessive adjectives, for example, if I say my pen, so of course in this phrase you can say pen is a noun, whereas my is an adjective. It is possessive adjective and it is a determiner too. It means if a word is like an adjective or behaves like an adjective or is an adjective, but it is either possessive, demonstrative or distributive, then it is called determiner. Okay, so you can say that if we talk about determiners, so determiners can include adjectives. Okay, now let me tell you this thing. After that, we'll discuss types. Okay, determiner is a word which qualifies noun. Therefore, as we know well that adjectives also qualify noun. So whenever we talk about an adjective, so it includes some part of adjectives, not all adjectives. Keep this in mind that not all adjectives will be the determiners, but there are many adjectives that can which can be determiners. Okay. Second one, when we talk about articles, okay, articles means definite article, that is the, and indefinite article, that is a and n. We have already done this in chapter. Now, if you see this, that it shows definiteness or indefiniteness. Now, this definiteness and indefiniteness is of course shown by the articles. And if we talk about these two parts, so obviously these are qualified by articles. Okay, so if we have an adjective or article that anyhow qualifies noun, of course that is also a determiner. But we can say that all the determiners are adjectives. No, not all the determiners, but many determiners are adjectives and many adjectives are determiners. But it cannot be said that all the adjectives are determiners. Though somewhere it can be said that all the determiners are adjectives. Why so? Because any word that can qualify a noun is known as adjective. Also, if you see this article, this is also the part of adjective. It means if you see this determiner and article, these both are the parts of adjectives only. Okay, so any word which qualifies noun is known as adjective, so the determiner and article. But there is a difference between these things. For example, if I talk about leather bag or good, suppose good human, or if I say beautiful girl, so this beautiful, good, or leather, these are only adjectives. These are not the determiners. However, if I talk about a and the, all these a and the are the determiners. It means all the articles are determiners. Okay, so as I told you before as well, that the determiners, these include several parts of a speech, that is the part of adjective. Also, it relates to noun because ultimately determiner qualifies a noun. Okay, so this is actual definition of determiner. That means it qualifies a noun anyhow, but not anyhow. Actually, some parts of adjectives and articles, they are known as determiners. Whenever we talk about demonstrative adjective, distributive adjective, possessive adjective, these all adjectives, they qualify, they form determiners. Okay, or they are same as determiners. Now, let us see various types of determiners. So here we have types of determiners. What are the types? Articles. First, as I told you that every article is a determiner. Demonstratives, as I told you, this, that, these, those, these are demonstratives, and we have already heard them in demonstrative adjectives. So these demonstrative are also the types of determiners. Then possessives. Okay, possessives means which show the possession. For example, my, his, her. Now we cannot say mine. Why so? Because mine cannot qualify a noun. It cannot come just before the noun. In fact, it replaces noun, and the word which replaces noun is a pronoun. So pronoun cannot be a determiner. Okay. Quantifiers. Quantifier means which shows the quantity. Okay. Numbers. Now we have already heard these words in the chapter of adjectives. We have also heard the numeral adjectives, quantitative adjectives, qualitative adjectives, but quantitative adjectives and numeral adjective, they can be determiners. Distributives, interrogative determiners, for example, what, which, whom. So these are interrogative determiners. It means those which are interrogative adjective, they can also be interrogative determiner. It means if we talk about proper adjective, or if we talk about descriptive adjective, apart from those, all the adjectives or many adjectives, they can be called determiners. In fact, indefinite adjectives sometimes. Now, difference determiners. Now, what are difference determiners? Well, these we will elaborate later on in this session. I hope this much is clear to you now. Okay, so these are several types of determiners which we should know. Okay, now let us discuss each and every determiner one by one, and after that we'll discuss each and every determiner in detail later on. Okay, so first we'll discuss types of determiners one by one, but we'll have a brief look over them. First of all, we have articles. The most common determiners, they can be a definite article, that is the, which refers to a specific noun or nouns. For example, the dog is barking. Now, we have two types of articles. One is definite article, that is the, which always shows the uniqueness of a noun and which always shows the noun which is a specific, or whenever we want to make a noun particular or a specific, we use the before. For example, if I say the dog is barking, it means I'm referring to a particular dog only. Okay, only a single dog I'm looking towards, that he is barking. Okay, so I'm looking towards a particular particular dog, which I'm talking about, or I'm referring to a particular dog. Okay, for example, if I say the student is standing there. Now the student is standing there, it means I'm talking about only that student which is standing over there. Okay, or that is standing over there. Indefinite articles, now we have some more type of articles, that is indefinite article, which can be divided further into two parts, a and n. Okay, which shows only which can talk about any noun, but it should be singular in number. Okay, so they are a and n, refers to non-specific noun, also singular noun. Remember, a and n can be put only before a singular noun, whereas if we talk about it can be placed before a singular as well as plural noun. Okay, now a and n, they refer to singular noun. Okay, she is a teacher. Okay, so this teacher is a noun which can be said for any. So I have used a before it. That has its particular structure. And what is the structure? Why do we use a or n before a noun? Why do we use the before a noun? That we will discuss in detail, but later on. Okay, now let us move forward. Now here we have an example. It is not a specified bit. Okay. Well, now let us move to another one, that is types of determiners, demonstratives. So now we'll talk about demonstratives. Till now we have already discussed about articles. These point to and identify a noun or pronoun. Point to means it indicates. Okay, so demonstrative determiner, it indicates or point to or identify a noun or pronoun. They include this, that, these, those. Okay, so these determiners, they are like this, that, these, those. These are demonstrative determiners. In fact, these are also known as demonstrative adjectives, but here we'll call them demonstrative determiners. It means anyhow they will qualify a noun, but they should remain this, that, these. This means one. Okay, when we talk about one which is near to us. For example, this is a pen. So I'm talking about a pen which is near to me and it is singular. But if I say these are books, it means I'm talking about books which are near me, but they are plural in number. Okay, so these can be used in plural form and for those which are near to us. That is used for singular noun, but that is far away from us. For example, that is a bird, that is a tree, that is a mountain. So we are talking about that which is far away from us, but that is singular. It means we are talking about only one. Those also are used for plural nouns, but they should be far away from us. For example, those are students, those are trees, those are mountains, those are valleys. It means something which is far away from us, but must be more than one. There I can use the word those. Okay, for example, I can say those two boys. Now, which two boys? Those two boys. It means I'm talking about some boys which are not near me. Sorry, boys who are not near me and they are more than one. Okay, or they are in plural numbers. You can use those for that. So if you see this book is mine, now you can see over here this book is mine. So book is singular noun and I'm referring to this book. So I have used the word this is mine. I like those shoes. It means those shoes must be far away from me, and because these are shoes, shoes means plural. That is why I have used the word those. Okay. Now let us move to the next one, that is possessives. So whenever we show the position of any noun, we use possessive adjective or the possessive determiners. Now, my, your, his, her, its, are, their. So all these are actually, they indicate ownership or association, and they are also known as possessive adjectives. So they are also known as possessive determiners. Okay, so these are also possessive determiners also. Now that is my car. So here car is noun and my is possessive determiner. Okay, PD means possessive determiner because it is showing that this car belongs to me. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now we have quantifiers. Provide information about the number of items or amount of something. It means which tells us the quantity of something or a quantity of noun. Some common quantifiers are some, any, many, much, a lot, of, a few, a little, several, enough, all, both, half. So all these show the quantity of some noun. So these are known as quantifiers. I have several pens. Now I said I have several pens. Pens are nouns. And I have several pens. Okay, now I know well that if I am using the word several and I am using the word pens, pens are countable. But if I say several, can you tell me that how many exactly number I'm talking about? No. That means it is indefinite number. Okay, or indefinite adjective, or you can say indefinite quantifier. Okay, which cannot tell me the exact number of something, but it can. It is used for countable. Now, she ate some cake. Now, cake is uncountable. So, I have used some for a little. Okay. Now, let us move to the next one. Numbers. Now, here we can see one thing. We have divided these two on the basis of numbers and quantifiers. Now, what is the difference? If we are using the quantifiers, obviously they will be used with countable as well as uncountable nouns. But there I cannot show the exact number. For example, if I say many of course is used with countable nouns. But how many? I cannot say the exact number. I can say many books. But how many are they? Are they 1,000 or are they more than that? That exact number I cannot tell. So that indefiniteness or the indefiniteness or something which can be used before uncountable nouns, that is included in quantifiers. But these are also considered determiners when they specify the quantity of nouns. But whenever we can say the exact number of something, and also when we say exact number of something, of course it is used before countable noun. So these numbers or numeral adjectives or numeral determiners, what they are used just before nouns, but these nouns should be countable. Okay. Moreover, here we can show the exact number. For example, exact number means, for example, I can say 2 cats, 3 biscuit, or 3 cookies, or 2 pens. So when I can exactly tell the number of that means that is numeral determiner or number determiner. Okay, for example, I have 2 cats. So how many cats do I have? I have 2 cats. Okay, so I can count them, 1 and 2. Okay, so this is exact number I'm showing. That means that is a number determiner. So this is the basic difference between number determiner and quantifier. Okay, I hope this much is clear to you all. So this is the difference, and this is very important difference that we should know. Also, if we are showing the exact number, of course, it will be used before countable now. Okay. In fact, these include cardinal numbers as well as ordinal numbers that we will discuss later on. Now we have another one, that is distributives, refer to individual members of a group. Now, if you remember, we have discussed this in the chapter of adjective as well, that is distributive adjective. For example, if we talk about either, neither, each, every is always used for singular person only. Okay, when we talk about singular person, we can use. So these determiners, these are distributive determiners. They include each, every, either, neither. And we know well that each, every is always used for singular. Either, neither is also used for singular. Okay, in case of we have of after this and then we have noun, but that will not be the determiner. That will be an adjective or pronoun. Okay, now each student was given a book. Now you can see over here, a student is a noun, which is singular noun, and just before that we have used the word each. So this each is referring to this singular noun. Was given a book. So each student, it means every individual member. Okay, so each student, after each we have used a student, which is singular noun. After any of these words, we always use singular noun as well as singular form of verb. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now we have interrogative determiners used with nouns to ask questions. So we use these type of words just before noun and they ask the questions. For example, which, what, whose. For example, whose pen is this? So you can see here whose is asking us the question that this pen belongs to whom. So pen is noun, and just before that we have used the word whose. So this is determinant. Okay, and because it is asking the question, so of course this is interrogative determinant. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Difference determinants used to express contrast, means when something is in contrast with each other. For example, other and another. I don't like this shirt. Do you have another one? Or do you have another t-shirt? So this another is qualifying noun over there. Therefore, this another is a determiner. Okay, so this is difference determiner when we talk about the contrast or something other. Okay, which shows the difference between the two. Now let us move to the next one. We'll discuss now characteristics of determiner. I hope the types of determiners are clear to you now, and we will elaborate each and every type in detail. We will elaborate each and every type of determiner in later or in future sessions. Okay, so now we'll discuss characteristics of determiners. They add detail or clarity. Determiners provide specific information about the noun they accompany. They accompany means they include. For instance, a dog is a general statement, whereas the dog specifies a particular dog. First of all, if we talk about the characteristics of determiner, the very first category or the very first characteristic of it is that determiner adds clarity to the noun. It means whichever noun we are referring to or talking about, it should be clear that what number of nouns we are talking about, what number of things we are talking about. For example, if it is giving information about any noun or pronoun, any noun, it will give you the specification of that. For example, if I say a dog, that is a general statement. We can say a dog for any dog in this world. But if I say the dog, it means I'm making it specific that I'm talking about a particular dog. Okay, so it creates the clarity of the noun or the context we are referring to. For example, if I say my pen, it means I'm talking only about my pen, not talking about any pen in this. Okay, now let us move to the next one. The second one is position. Another characteristic is position. Determiners are typically placed before the noun. Now this one is very, very important about determiners, that it is placed just before noun. Okay, it cannot be like some position forward or some position ahead, not like that. Or the adjective that modifies the noun. For instance, now this is also one thing, that a determiner can be placed before an adjective as well. For example, if I say a beautiful girl, a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl. Now, if you see this sentence carefully, girl is noun, beautiful is descriptive adjective, or you can say adjective, and this a is a determiner. So this determiner can be placed just before noun or any adjective qualifying that noun. So this is a determiner. Also, if I say a girl, so this is also a determiner. So a determiner can be placed just before noun as well as before the adjective. Okay. Now it can also happen that we may have a structure of adverb plus adjective plus noun. So it can be used just before that as well. Okay. In the phrase, those beautiful shoes. Now, if you see this phrase, those is determiner, beautiful is adjective, and shoes are noun. Those is the determiner. Okay. So you can see the sequence or the position of determiner in a sentence, but it anyhow qualifies a noun. So it can be used immediately before the noun or any other word which is exactly qualifying noun. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. They never stand alone. We cannot use determiners alone. Okay. They always precede noun. Now, if I say she is good, she is good. Now you can see over here that good is an adjective which is standing alone. It means we need not write any word after it. Why so? Because good is used for she. Okay. But if I say she is my, now This one is incorrect. Why so? Because determiner cannot stand alone. They need a noun after them. For example, I can say she's my sister. Okay. So here you can see that sister is noun which is qualified by the word my. So this my is determiner which is showing the position of this noun. Okay. Now they always precede noun. This is noun and this is determiner which is preceding this word sister. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. There is fourth, agreement. So this is another characteristic of determiners. Determiners must agree in number and sometimes in gender with the nouns they modify. To whichever noun they are modifying, they should agree in the number. For example, if I say these tables. So for tables, I can use these, but I cannot say this tables. Okay. For instance, in English, you would say this apple, but these apples. Okay. Now you can say this apple. Okay. But if you want to use these, you should use apples. Okay. You cannot say these apple. Now this will be incorrect. Okay, this will be incorrect. Why so? Because we can use determiners according to the numbers of noun. In fact, we should use determiners according to the numbers of noun. For example, I can say a boy, but if I say boys, I cannot use a before. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now we'll discuss the usage of determiners. Usage. Understanding when and how to use determiners can significantly improve clarity in both written and spoken English. For instance, saying I saw birds is different from I saw the birds. Okay. Whenever we speak in English or whenever we understand the concept of any text which is written over there, it is significant to understand the clarity which is indicated by determiners. For example, if I say I saw birds, this sentence is also correct. If I say I saw the birds, this sentence is also correct. But there is a difference between the meaning of the two. What? The former means the previous one. I saw birds means I saw any type of birds. Okay, it means I'm talking about those birds which can be any. Okay, suggest you saw some birds but not a specific one. The letter means the another one or the second one. Implies you saw particular birds that both the speaker and listener are aware of. For example, if A asks B that did you see those birds which are white in color and they usually roam around in this area, or they usually fly across this river. So B said, yes, of course, I saw the birds. Okay, it means he's talking about particular birds only. So he can say, I saw the birds. It means he's only referring to those birds which A was asking about. Okay. So this is actually the usage of determiners. Now we'll discuss some concepts. Now to see these concepts, we have divided determiners into two groups. One is group A determiners and another one is group B determiners. Now, what is group A determiners and group B determiners? Let us see. Concept 1, group A determiners. We have articles, possessive determiners, and demonstrative determiners. Okay. So, in group A determiners, we do have these. So, first we'll discuss articles. Group A determiners, in which we have articles. These are perhaps the most fundamental determiners in English. Fundamental means basic. Okay. Fundamental means basic. Definite article the and indefinite article a and n. As I told you that now we'll elaborate each and every type of determiner. We have already heard this word articles and we know well that this can be divided into two parts, either definite or indefinite. Definite, which shows the definiteness of a noun or pronoun, but it is actually used before a noun, so it shows the definiteness of a noun. But indefinite articles are used before nouns which are indefinite, or you can say which are not specific, but they should be singular. Now, articles used to specify the definiteness of the noun. The is used to when talking about specific items that both the speaker and listener are aware of. And an are used when the exact item is not specified. Okay. Now, if we talk about, if I say I saw a bird, It means that can be any bird. Okay. Now, suppose I'm saying this sentence to my friend. Now, that friend, she does not know which bird I'm talking about. So I'm talking about any bird. Okay. For example, I can say, I saw a truck today. I saw a big truck today. I saw a car today. I saw a new car today. I saw a different car today. I saw a convertible car today. So that is another any car I'm talking about. But if there is a particular car, for example, my friend asked me, did you see that car of red color which was standing just near your house? Said I, yes, I saw the car. Yes, it means I'm giving my consent that yes, I saw that car and I saw the car. It means I and my friend we both are aware of that car which we are referring to. That is why I have used the before that particular car. Okay. Now, possessive determiners, they indicate ownership or possession. For example, my, your, his, her, its, its, are, or their. For example, and now we have two type of possessive. One is adjective and possessive pronoun. So they both are different from each other. We cannot say possessive pronoun are the determiners, but possessive adjectives are the possessive determiners. How? If I say this is my book. Okay, the first sentence is this is my book. Another sentence is this book is mine. Okay, this book is mine. Now, if you see or compare these two sentences, what you will find, before book we have a word my which shows the possession of this book. So book is a noun and my is a determiner. But in the second one, this book is mine. So here mine is replacing this my book. So this mine is a pronoun, but it is not a determiner. Why so? Because we cannot use noun just after. However, if we see the sentence carefully, in this book is noun and this is demonstrative determiner. Okay, this is demonstrative determiner. Demonstrative determiner. Why so? Because it is just qualifying in noun. Okay. So here this is the determiner, whereas here my is the determiner. Whereas if we see these two sentences, this mine is pronoun as well as this is. Okay. So this is the basic difference and the use of possessive determiners, which are different from possessive pronouns. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. Now we have possessive determiners show ownership or association, agree number and something gender, sometimes gender with nouns they modify, are different from possessive pronouns mine, your, his, hers, its, ours, or theirs. Now we have already discussed this concept in the past slide, okay, or in the last slide. Now we'll discuss demonstrative determiners. These identify and point to nouns. It means indicate nouns. For example, this and that for singular nouns, and these and those for plural nouns. As I told you that if we want to use these and those, they are always used for plural noun, whereas this and that is always used for singular noun. Now point out and identify nouns. What are the various characteristics of demonstrative determiners? That they point out or identify nouns. This and these refer to items close to the speaker or in location or time. It means near the speaker. But if we talk about that and those refer to items farther away from the speaker. Each of these determiners gives additional information about the noun they precede, specifying whether it is known or unknown to the listener, its proximity or its relationship ownership. Okay, proximity means that the numbers in which they should agree. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now we have group B determiners. Now how we classify this group B determiners? Now group B determiners are quantifiers, interrogative determiners, and distributive determiners. So we have these types of determiners that we have already discussed. But just for understanding, we have divided it into two. Though there is not any such classification of these two groups. This is just for understanding. We have divided these in two groups, but there is no exact classification on basis of something, but we have just divided these two so that you will it will be very easy for you to understand. Here we have quantifiers, also number determiners, interrogative determiners, and distributive determiners. Quantifiers, these provide information about the number of quantity: any, much, some, much, few, little, a lot of, several, enough, all, both, half, each, every, either, neither. So all these are quantifiers, okay, which shows the quantity of a noun or the number of a noun. After that, we have quantifiers. They express quantity or amount in relation to nouns. They can be used with both countable, example, cats and books, and uncountable nouns like example, water and advice. Okay, these are uncountable nouns, and we can also use these quantifiers with the uncountable nouns. For example, I can say some water, I can say some advice. Okay, so these are uncountable, yet we are using the word some with them. In fact, some is a word or a determiner which can be used before countable as well as countable noun. For example, if I say some students, that is also correct. If I say some water, that is also correct. However, students are countable, whereas water is uncountable. But this quantifier, it can be used before both the types of nouns, either countable or uncountable. Though some quantifiers are specific to one or another. We use many for countable nouns like many apples, whereas we use much for uncountable nouns, that is much water. And this one is very, very important. Always remember one thing, students, that many can be only used with countable nouns and much is with uncountable. I can say much water, much milk, but I cannot say much students. However, I can say many students, but I cannot say many water. Okay, so this is the concept based on the number of nouns. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Interrogative determiners. Interrogative determiner, these are used with nouns to ask questions. Examples: which, what, whose. So what are various characteristics of interrogative determiners? Let us see over there. See over here. These determiners introduce questions. Which and what can be used to ask about things or people. However, which is often used when there is a specific limited set being referred. Okay. Examples: which book out of these do you want? What book do you want in general without specifying a set? Whose is used to inquire about possession. Example: whose coat is this? Okay, so whose is just asking the question that which is asking actually the possession or the owner of this coat. Now we'll discuss distributive determiners. These refer to members of a group individually rather than collectively. It means if we talk about all these, this is though it can also be a determiner, but that is not distributive. Why? So if I talk about each and every member individually, for example, if I say each and every student, it means I'm talking about all these students individually. It means one by one. For example, each, every, either, neither. These determiners are used to refer to members of a group individually. Each refers to individual members of a group, emphasizing one at a time. For example, each student received a prize. It means each and every student, he has received the prize. Every also refers to all members of a group but sees them as collective. For example, every student knows the rule. Okay. Now, distributive determiners, again, either and neither are used to specifically with two items. Now, this we should keep in mind that either and neither are always used for two in numbers. Either refers to one or other in positive sense. It means when we need one out of two, that means we are using the word either. Okay, and it is used in positive sense, whereas neither means when we have two and we don't want anyone. So there we use the word neither, which shows the negativeness. Okay, or indicates not the first one or not the second one in a negative sentence. For example, you can have either chocolate or vanilla. It means you have two options. Either you can take chocolate or vanilla. Okay, neither option is appealing to me. So here we have the word neither after that option, which is a singular noun, and after that I have used is, which is a singular verb. Okay. Now we have learned various types of determiners. We have seen various characteristics of these type of determiners, and we have classified determiners into two groups, that is group A and group B. Now in the next session, we'll elaborate all these determiners And if you want to learn many concepts about determiners, be connected with me always. Till then, thanks to you.